Hi, Elizaveta. Let's take a look at your new set of essays, okay? This is about domestic and international travel. You have to discuss advantages and disadvantages. Let's see what you wrote. In some people's eyes, traveling is beneficial for a person, while others believe, no commas necessary here, that disadvantages of journeys outweigh advantages. All right, now, I definitely appreciate your economizing on introductions, but this is a little too short. Is it okay? Yeah, it's okay. But I want to remind you that your introduction is the examiner's first impression of your writing. And typically, paragraphs are not just one sentence. So just add an additional sentence, okay? Even if it's just something as simple as, travel has become a sought-after pastime for many nowadays. In some people's eyes, travel is beneficial for a person, while others believe that there are disadvantages. I mean, just something even that simple, like an extra sentence, okay? So just keep that in mind. Let's move on. Some are of the opinion that traveling is always accompanied with enormous risk and dangers because of several factors, such as unstable political or economic situations, in a foreign country, or spread of a disease. For instance, 1 year later, because of a pandemic and closure of borders, a great number of tourists stayed in foreign countries and did not have an opportunity to return to their motherland. Thus, according to some people's opinion, those who travel get no comma, inevitably get into troubles, become nervous trying to tackle their problems, and do not get pleasure from a trip. This is not the only reason why people avoid traveling. Each journey costs money, and it does not depend whether a person travel in his country or out of it. All right, the grammar here is a little awkward. First of all, we say do not depend on. Okay. Let's see. Each journey costs money, and it does not depend on whether a person travels with an S in his country or out of it. Not everyone can afford transport needs, hotel, and entertaining activities during a trip. Consequently, some people prefer staying at home to traveling. Okay. This is fine. It's fine. There was a little awkwardness, but on the whole, I thought you did okay. All right, so I've now read this paragraph a couple of more times because I wanted to kind of just bring your attention to a couple of things. This essay is asking you to talk about the disadvantages, at least this paragraph, okay? The disadvantages of traveling. Okay, so in other words, what's negative about traveling? What's bad about it when people do it, when we do it, okay? So this for me is not completely appropriate why people avoid traveling. We're not talking about avoiding traveling. We're talking about one of the negatives associated with it. Okay, so I think you needed to rephrase this because you don't want there to be any misunderstanding. We're not talking about avoiding travel, but when we do travel, what are some disadvantages associated with it? Okay, let's see. And then you did something similar with your wrap-up sentence. You said people prefer staying home to traveling. I think instead what would have been more appropriate is something like, consequently, there are some downsides to travel. Okay? So I think that would have been a better way of being more on topic here. All right, let's take a look at the next paragraph. Okay. However, traveling has plenty of advantages. First of all, it is a brilliant opportunity. It provides a brilliant opportunity to learn something new about diverse okay, SE, cities and countries. Tourists possess a silver chance, I don't understand that, what is a silver chance, to visit famous museums and theaters and acquire useful knowledge about historical and cultural places. Thus, if more people had an opportunity to travel, our society would be more intelligent and people would broaden their horizons more. That's a set expression, to broaden your horizons, not extend. Additionally, trips are crucial as a way to improve people's health, as some northern countries like Russia do. Okay, northern countries do not have enough sunny spells. People suffer from the lack of vitamins and as a result poor health. In these cases, journeys with an S to warm places where a person is able to sunbathe, swim in a sea, and eat fresh fruit helps to address issues with health. Okay, that's good. In conclusion, regardless of the fact that there are two opposite opinions whether traveling has more advantages or disadvantages, everyone should decide for himself. All right, fine. I guess that's okay. So, fine. I liked your second body paragraph. The conclusion was okay. Just be careful about some of the other things that I mentioned in your first body paragraph and also with the introduction, okay? So let's take a look now at your second task. All right, let's look at the task 1 here. The graph depicts the range of movies types, namely action, animation, comedy, drama, horror, and romantic, which are preferable among young generation of both genders over the world. All right. I'm glad that you listed all of the genres, but I do want to change some of the grammar, some of the language in this sentence, okay? So, the graph depicts movie types, not the range of, so the graph depicts, it's actually a chart. So the chart depicts movie types, no S, no apostrophe, namely these, which are preferable among the young generation of both genders around the world. It does say around the world, doesn't it? Worldwide, yes. Okay. All right, so just some little things there. Overall, it is clear that even if men and women are passionate about different types of films, comedy remains the most popular type among both genders. Good. All right. Males as well as female consider comedy as the most appealing type of movie, 145 and 137 respectively. Okay, they didn't tell us millions, did they? Does it say millions anywhere? Not as far as I saw, so don't add it if it's not there, okay? By contrast, while animation is the least popular kind of films among women, only 54, the least number of men prefer the romantic kind. 31 million. You wrote million, I removed the million. Okay, how about this? The least number of men prefer romantic movies. Okay, at 31, full stop. The second position in the range, I don't like this expression, in the range of movie preferences. It's a little awkward. So the second position in movie preferences, no S, no apostrophe, is occupied by action films among males at 137 and romantic films among females at 116. Okay, so I'm changing around a little bit of the language here. Approximately an equal number of youngsters, ST is missing here, from 54 to 86 are keen on watching animation, drama, and horror types of films. All right, is that the end of this? All right, that ended rather abruptly. All right, it's 150 words exactly. I thought that you should have gone into more detail here. This to me was done really, really briefly. You talked about the action, right? No, not really. You talked about, okay. So what did you really talk to us about? You talked to us about the most popular. You talked about the second most popular for men and the second most popular for women. And then you talked about the least most popular for men and the least most popular for women, right? Yes. So then there was, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things you didn't really mention. Okay, and you see, this is a bar chart where you really only have 12 pieces of information, so you should be able to include all of them, okay? You decided to talk about 6, essentially, pieces of information, and the rest you just put into a range. Now, generally, I'm a huge fan of ranges. I think it's a wonderful way to avoid talking about things that are maybe too detaily, just too not really important. And that's a great thing to do when you have a lot of data to cover. Here, though, you didn't really. You only had 12 pieces of data. And that is a number where you should, if not all 12, at least the majority of them you should have covered, okay? Because you talked about this an equal number of youngsters from 54 to 86. This doesn't really mean anything to me. Like, what does that mean? Are you basically telling me, I'm trying to figure this out really, just forgive me, that, yeah, I'm really not sure what that sentence meant. So I felt it ended rather abruptly. I wasn't really clear what that means, an equal number of youngsters from 54 to 86. What do you mean? That equally males and females liked horror, equally males and females liked drama? That was rather unclear to me. Okay? And the other thing that's really strange about this is if that's what you meant, you just told us that animation was the least popular among women, and now you're telling us that an equal number. Well, so it was a little confusing. Okay, I think that's clear. At only 150 words, I think you could have written maybe 1 or 2 more sentences. All right. Let's see. I don't know, even if it was maybe just to talk about drama, you could have said that, these types of films had similar numbers with maybe like a small difference between them, except for drama, where it was preferred by 86 women compared to 63 men. Just a little something extra here, okay? You could have said that these 3 types had small differences, except for maybe, drama. That would have been a good thing to maybe point out, okay? And you didn't have to write a lot of sentences for it, but at least it would have given us a little extra information. All right, so Elizaveta, go ahead, correct these, and let's see more work from you. If you have any questions about this feedback, please let me know in your email. Okay, and that's it. So I'll wait for more essays from you. Good luck.